First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Welcome in to First Things First. I'm Sarah Kustok, filling in for Jenna Wolf. That's the Hall of Famer. Chris Carter, that's Nick Wright. How you guys doing this morning?
Good morning. We're doing great. Thank you for stepping in once again.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks. Long week with me here for you guys.
Show doesn't miss a beat.
We got a big show today. Vince Goodwill will join us to discuss his bombshell reports on the Rockets' turmoil. The Lakers are trying to land a third star, but we will start with the Celtics.
Oh, will we?
Woo! It's been a rough 24 hours for Boston. For one, Kyrie Irving is not expected to rejoin the team, and all signs seemingly point to him joining the Nets. And to make matters worse, Al Horford is also expected to turn down his player option and seek a multi-year deal elsewhere. So, Nick, what do you make of this Celtics situation?
They squandered the biggest heist in NBA history. They were in a perfect storm of positive situation for them when they had aging superstars, that a desperate team with a desperate owner that happened to be an overbearing Russian oligarch at the time said, we got to win right now. Oh, draft picks, who cares about draft picks? And they got essentially 5 lightly or unprotected first-round picks for 2 players who were combined 73 years old. And we are now 6 years removed from that moment. And the team on the other side of that heist is in a better position moving forward than Boston. That's where they're at. They have made, since that trade, 3 major free agent or trade moves. Signing Gordon Hayward, that has not gone well. I do not blame them for that, but it has not gone well. Trading for Kyrie Irving, he is walking out that door in 12 days for no compensation, and signing Al Horford, who was the first of those 3 dominoes, who you thought was going to be there long term when he opted out yesterday. The expectation around the league was he's opting out to end up taking a longer-term deal with Boston. Now Al Horford is walking out that door with no compensation. So the Boston Celtics are going to be the dynasty that never was, the championship contender that never was. They will go into next year based around Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart, and maybe Terry Rozier. That is a 40-some-odd win team. I thought they were a 47-win team if they had kept Horford. Celtics fans will tell you he's the most important player on that roster, what he does leadership-wise, defensively, his efficiency offensively, and now he leaves for nothing. And Danny Ainge has to look himself in the mirror and say, how did it get here? How are we in this position now? But that's the position they find themselves.
Yeah, Kustok, you always talk about going around the league, covering the league, about some of the quality people that are in this league. Forget what their skill level is. Forget that they can switch 1 through 5. Forget that they've been in big-time situations. Forget that they're great in the locker room. Like, he's a great guy. Like, it's hard to replace that. There's no money amount. How many guys do you have to bring in to be able to get the type of leadership, the type of experience that he has, close to championship basketball? After winning a couple of national championships in college, you know what the Celtics look like? 2 years ago, when they decided to sign Gordon Hayward, they're going to bring this team together, traded for Kyrie Irving. It's as if Al Horford began to age. Kyrie Irving wasn't successful. Either he got hurt or there was just something they didn't like in him. Gordon Hayward went from an all-star player. He never got hurt. And he just got better and better in the last couple of years, like a guy like Paul George or Oladipo. And you know what they're going to do? This is going to be Utah of the East. They're going to build around Gordon Hayward. But we know, we've been alive long enough to know that's not what happened. He had an awful injury. He has not recovered from that injury. But when you look at that team, you talk about the roster as they sit today, I mean, that's what it would have been. I mean, this is a team that Utah would have.
Well, and it's interesting because Al Horford, I mean, think back to when he was coming from Atlanta. He was a free agent. He was one of the most coveted guys in Boston. You look at them, he might be one of their bigger free agent signings that they've had, particularly in quite some time. But it's fascinating, Nick, great point, because anyone you talk to from Boston, anytime I would call their games, he was unequivocally the most important person and the cog on that team that allowed them to go. But I don't know if anyone saw this coming. And to me, the question is, did he see the writing on the wall of what the Boston Celtics are looking like and saying, this isn't necessarily the title contending team anymore that I thought I was coming to. Our future isn't as bright as it once seemed. And so now if these pieces aren't coming, if everything is changing, do I want to still be here?
Or, Nick, did they undervalue his value on the open market.
I think it's a combination of the two. I think they underestimated his value on the open market clearly. The great Mark Stein reported that Al Horford believes he has a 4-year, $100 million deal awaiting him on the first day of free agency. So, of course, he's going to look at 3 years, $65 million, which is what I think the Celtics were getting ready to present to him as saying, no, there's no way I'm taking that. And it is Danny Ainge and the Celtics' job to have the foresight to know that, just like it is their job to recognize, okay, if things are going sideways with Kyrie Irving, instead of holding on to this false hope that he was actually going to stay, they never even gauged his trade value at the deadline. They at no point did they want to abandon what I think many of us saw was a sinking ship. They held on to that press conference from October as if that was a signed contract.
Even if there was some signs as far as him wanting out or whatever, they had to go beyond the trade deadline. They had to give this team a chance with Kyrie Irving healthy, given how far they went last year without Kyrie Irving and the way the East was shaped up. Like, you had to give that team the opportunity to try to do something together because Gordon Hayward being hurt, Kyrie Irving coming back, they deserved at least a full season together.
So with all signs pointing to him signing elsewhere, where would be a good landing spot for Horford?
Well, listen, a lot of people immediately connected him to the Lakers because him at the 5, Anthony Davis at the 4, LeBron at the 3. Horford doesn't need a lot of touches, can shoot, great defensive player. But at 4, if he's going to be getting $100 million at $25 million a year, the Lakers aren't going to do that. And while I do love the fit, the Lakers need guards, not bigs. The player that's on the Celtics right now that would help the Nets the most, I think, is Al Horford. We have seen how Al Horford gives Joel Embiid more fits than any player in the league. Now, Al Horford is not going to go to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie again, so that's not going to happen. But I think Al Horford knows where he's going. Could it be a team like Dallas that has cap space but they don't seem to be connected to any of these max guys? Al Horford clearly has an idea of where he's going, and while the back end of a 4-year, $100 million contract you might be regretting a bit, in the beginning of that deal, he will be of good value to a champion.
And the Celtics underestimated out there right now is around 10 teams that have $20 million at least to be able to spend. So someone like Al Horford, he's got great value. And a lot of times, too, if he can't get that championship that he's looking for, man, it's about the money. It's about getting that last big payday. He's had a great basketball career. He'll be a great asset to any other organization. And that's what I see happening here. Them underestimating his ability on the open market because he's a smart guy. Smart guys don't void $30 million.
No.
I mean, at his age.
And, I mean, there are a lot of places he fits. He's such a good player, and he's such a malleable player. He'd be a great fit in Milwaukee if Brook Lopez walking out the door. A great fit and add some veteran leadership. But they would have to move away from some of the guys they want to bring back. And I would assume Milwaukee wants to run back that 61
team. They're in a tough spot with the cap where they're at. Well, Boston's not the only team trying to make some decisions. Coming up is Chris Paul demanding a trade. That's next on FS1, and you can always check us out on the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM. We'll be right back.